Hey, I'm Olivia.
I'm Regan.
And you're listening to Soarin Around WDW.
Okay, so I want to talk a little bit before we get started on today's actual main topic about just some news. There's not been a whole lot going on, at least that I've seen for the past week, but something semi-major happened. I don't know that this has ever happened before. Maybe you will, but the news about the fight that broke out, and then they thought there was a gunshot, and then people were evacuated, and there was stampedes through the stores. And this is in Magic Kingdom, by the way, in Orlando. I saw pictures of the aftermath and some pictures of security escorting people out, a ton of people. But I'm sure that must have been really chaotic to be present for.
Yeah.
And probably pretty scary. And I don't know the full context other than the full story other than it wasn't a gunshot. Allegedly, sheriffs say it was a balloon that popped in the middle of the fight. But I mean, no, I was gonna say would Disney ever admit that a gun got through?
Oh, I think they'd have to.
But I think they'd have to. And I also think that there would have been plenty of people that would have seen it.
Yeah.
And been no, it was definitely a gun, which I haven't seen any of.
No. No, all I heard basically was that people were escorted out. When I first read it, I was like, oh, that would suck. What time was that? But then it was at the end of the night, after fireworks. It was pretty late, is for what I read.
Okay.
And people got escorted out through the back, and then they ended up finding out that it was just a balloon, but it was chaos getting out. Nobody knew what was going on. And apparently whatever was happening was very similar to the ferry boat situation where people were arguing, yelling, shoving, pushing, and I guess in the meantime popped a balloon and people thought there were gunshots and so started running, screaming, panicking. The ferry boat situation? Oh man, that was, let me look. That was a couple years ago where people were riding back late at night post fireworks on the ferry boat, and they got in a huge dispute and people were filming it. The police were called, they got off the ferry, it was a whole thing. They didn't have to evacuate. I mean, they were literally in the middle of traveling between, what are you going to do? But it was really,
jump off?
No, but it was really scary. And people that were there said that they were really terrified.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, the ferry.
Honestly, that would be one of the most, it would be a very, very scary thing because I think it's to me, it would be one of the least likely places for something like that to happen.
Yeah.
Because it's just, I feel if it was going to happen there, it would have happened a million times before. It's if you're in Times Square, or if you're in the middle of a city that's not super well secured Disney. I mean, not that Disney's super well secured, but it's pretty good about its security. I'd be really, really shocked if someone was able to get a gun through.
Right. Yeah, so that was scary. I mean, it actually looks like there's a bunch of different ferry boat fights. Apparently, don't ride the ferry boat back after the parade.
People are tired and angry and hungry.
Yeah, somebody said they pushed them, so they started pushing back. And anyways, but yeah, it sounds like this wasn't as much. But then shortly after this happened, I read that something happened at Disneyland this week as well. Similar fight broke out in the evening.
Disneyland's been going through it lately. They had the Small World kid.
Streaker.
The dragon catching on fire. There was something else that happened after the streaker.
Yeah.
That I remember being wow, Disneyland just can't catch a break. Or maybe it was it was in World. It was the guy that jumped in
the ferry boat.
The guy that
Rivers
jumped
of America?
he jumped in the lagoon at Epcot. He was swimming in the middle of the.
Oh, I thought that was by Big Thunder.
That also happened.
Okay, yeah, a lot of people
that was
are
really recent. But the guy in
out.
Epcot was right after the streaker. Yeah, and I remember being wow, Disney can't catch a break.
Disney can't catch a break. People are just crazy.
But then, so the other piece of news, unless you're looking this up right now, no? So the other piece of news that I saw was just that I think some permits were filed. I saw in Block Mickey that some permits were filed for Tropical Americas. Mm-hmm. They still haven't gone into great detail about where they're going to start. And so they said they're starting construction in the fall, and that it's being built in phases. The assumption by the masses is that they're going to build the Encanto attraction before shutting down Dinosaur, because whether Dinosaur gets a ton of people or not, it's still capacity. Mm-hmm. That would be that whole side of the park would be useless. It would really funnel a lot of people in a really small area. And so but they also have talked about this backstage Imagineering trailer area like where they're going to be hanging out while they do all this that they have to like build. So people think that like, oh, are they just going to like break ground on that this fall? So like nothing's actually really happening, right? Yeah,
quote unquote. It's happening.
Which like I'm all for, to be honest. As long I want to keep Triceratops spin open as long as possible because it adds to the number. And it's like 90 seconds long.
Yeah,
so like,
it's a short round.
And I feel like that'll be the first to go of all the things because obviously it's not high capacity, it's not high demand. And so even if we're not losing Dinosaur, we'd still lose a ride that, like, those kiddie rides are not the best rides, obviously, but, like, they're quick and they add to the number, so it makes you feel like you're making a lot of progress when you go on those rides.
Yeah.
So hopefully those stay open, or that stays open. But those 3 permits were filed. No major news about construction starting, to my knowledge. Riverboat was still open as of today. As Rich was doing a run today, and I saw him on that. So,
and I didn't hear anything further about Hollywood Studios, Muppets, nothing else that I've heard.
There's been no confirmation. People say things on Twitter like they're listening, they're not doing Rivers of America anymore, and they're not doing. It's like no.
Yeah.
Nothing has been confirmed. Nothing official has come out about that yet. But we'll keep our eyes peeled.
Oh gosh, I hope they don't scrap that because of people complaining.
They wouldn't. It's got to be too far gone in the process now for them to like
announce
where it's going.
Yeah.
Like I'd be more likely that they would scrap the Monsters Inc. land because they haven't officially said where it's going yet. But like they have a plan for Villains Land and for Cars. Actually, have they? I guess no. They haven't officially said where Villains Land is going, so we haven't gotten the concept art with anything else that we would recognize. But that path to the right of the concept art we saw of Cars area clearly looks like it's
and it would avoid them having to close the train.
Right.
So that's like a huge
there's a lot of space back there. I was looking at the map today, actually, just because I was bored looking at wait times. And it's a lot of space back there. They want to do a pretty sizable land for the Villains thing. That'd be really, really cool. Anyway, we've already talked about all that. Let's get into today's topic. So what are we talking about?
Today we're going to talk about nighttime shows and kind of do a little run through of what has been at each park, and then we'll kind of talk about where they rank for us,
of what we've seen,
because we obviously weren't alive for everything and haven't seen everything, but we've seen most things from the 90s on.
Are we talking about anything international?
No, only because we haven't seen any of it.
Okay.
So we're going to stick just to actually mostly Disney World, a little bit of Disneyland because just of what we've seen at Disneyland.
I've seen I think something from Paris on YouTube, but I don't remember it, so I'm not to speak on it. So it makes sense.
We'll stick to the U.S. There's enough to talk about.
Sure.
So we'll just start with Magic Kingdom, just to go ahead and start with a bang. But that's obviously where most of the shows have been traditionally. So when it first opened in 1971, their first show was called Fantasy in the Sky, and it was a fireworks show that actually ran all the way till 2003. So
we've seen that.
So we've seen that. I don't remember.
I was gonna say I recognize the names.
I recognize the names too, and that's like when Tinkerbell flies out of the castle. Like that was all.
That happens on all of them.
Yeah, but I think that's like obviously where it started, and that was pretty consistent for 32 years. So that was the first one. Wishes was the second one that also had a really long run, 2003 to 2017, and that one I definitely remember.
Yeah.
That was like a really big fireworks show. It was long. It felt longer than the others, or than the first one, I mean. And ran for a long time. And then after that, the first version of Happily Ever After came in 2017 and ran through 2021. And that was like the first time that they used projections on the castle. There
is no first version and second version. It left and came back, but there's no differences.
Okay, I guess I didn't realize that.
Like there's literally zero differences.
Okay.
Right, Steph?
I thought that Happily Ever After changed slightly the second time. It's the same.
Yeah, because I remember us being kind of disappointed that they didn't change it at all.
Okay. For some reason, I guess I got that confused because I haven't seen it again since 2021. That was the last time that I saw it. The only time that I saw it.
You haven't seen it since it's been back?
Nope.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah, because we've gone for Halloween.
You've seen it.
And Christmas.
Right.
And
okay.
We've not actually been at Magic Kingdom for a full day where it wasn't either closing early for a party or we were at the party. So
Right.
we've not seen it. Then after that was Enchantment, which obviously people hated so much and gave them so much crap about that. Then they came back to Happily Ever After.
What was the runtime for Enchantment?
Enchantment was actually, 2021 to 2023, 2 years.
Yeah.
So, and then now Happily Ever After is back. So we'll kind of talk through. Do you want to go ahead and talk?
Also, no, Happily Ever After didn't come back with COVID, so it couldn't have been 2021.
No, 2021 is when it ended. Yeah, we saw it in 2021.
Really? Mm-hmm. I thought that it when the parks closed for COVID, they took it away.
I think they took it away. They had a brief pause of not doing nighttime shows like that for a while.
And then it came back for a little bit.
Yeah.
And then it
because
went away
we saw
again.
it February 2021.
Okay, it must have gone away.
Oh no,
shortly after
sorry,
that.
not February 20. Yeah, October 2021.
That could have been that deep.
Yeah, I'll have to look up when our pictures were. February 2021 is definitely when we were there. And then I don't remember when we went back again, September or something. October, yeah. I don't know. But we've seen it one time in 2021. So it definitely came back post-COVID before they changed to Enchantment. But do you want to give a rank? Let's give a ranking of just Magic Kingdom to start.
Okay.
So,
I mean, so for me, top of the top is Happily Ever After.
Yeah.
I was so happy when they brought that back. I remember the first time that Steph and I went and saw that. It might have been before we got married. Because I remember it being the show that kind of defined our marriage, and that was the one that we went to when we were engaged, and then we were married. It was we were a couple versus Wishes, where I've seen my whole life.
yeah. Yeah.
So it was very we were very attached to Happily Ever After, so we were devastated when they took it away.
Well, it also was just so cool.
Yeah, I remember
projections.
literally getting super emotional the first night that I watched it, not because of the content necessarily, but because I was so dumbfounded by the creativity that went into it, and the amount of work and effort to play into New Age Disney and Old Age Disney.
Yeah.
It was it's just a
good
beautiful
combination.
mesh of all of that. Versus Enchantment that replaced it was we watched it. No, I heard it during the after hours when I just did my last challenge in May, because they did a whatever just for the after hours, just
Yeah.
Enchantment. And there are some good moments in that show, I'll give it, but it felt lazy.
Yeah, it just felt like less.
Yeah, well, and all the projection kind of got zeroed into a circle on the castle. Not all of it, but all the main points. It's during Happily Ever After, it kind of pops up here, pops up there, pops up top left, top right, center, everywhere. Whereas all the important things kind of happen in the center of the castle, and it just felt very lazy.
Yeah.
But the music wasn't bad. They zeroed in on the part of Moana that Steph and I love, of that they end up using in Fantasmic. Mm-hmm. So I yeah.
And Enchantment started using more on Main Street also, and now Happily Ever After does as well. That's the difference. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
But that's the only difference.
So what would you give Enchantment out of 5? 3?
Yeah.
I give it a 3.
It wasn't one that Happily Ever After we would go to watch. Enchantment we never went to watch other than the first time we saw it.
Yeah, you were just there and it happened.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wishes back in the day, I think was a 4 for what it was.
Yeah, well, what Wishes did super well, and this is what a lot of people will use to defend it over Happily Ever After, is it was way more focused on fireworks
yeah.
than it was on projections or content on the castle. But in that comes Cost.
Right.
It was obviously probably way more expensive to do Wishes. But I mean, I liked Wishes a lot. Steph and I still will randomly just burst into the song. Everyone make a wish, wishes. Yeah. And but I don't know. I don't fall into nostalgia that hard. So if Happily Ever After is a 5, Wishes probably a 4, Enchantment a 3.
Okay.
And yeah, what else was there? Oh, the Fantasy in the Sky. I don't remember it. I'd imagine it was probably just fireworks for the most part.
Yeah, I think it was mostly just fireworks, and then Tinkerbell obviously flying down the thing as well.
Where would you rank the Magic?
So I would rank, I think the same. I think Happily Ever After a 5, Wishes a 4, Enchantment a 3, and Fantasy in the Sky fireworks, I guess a 2, 3.
Yeah, I mean, I generally don't remember. I'm now that we're talking about it, I might look it up and see if if it jogs my memory.
Yeah.
Watching it, but I don't remember much about it. Was Jiminy Cricket involved in that one too, or was that just Wishes?
I don't think so. I think that was just Wishes.
Okay. Yeah. So Happily Ever After is kind of the bar for my wife and I when it comes to nighttime shows in general. Mm-hmm. At the other parks, but Fantasmic also, which we'll get to, kind of hits in a different way, which I would probably rank as high.
The highest.
As Happily Ever After. Like, it's just like, it's a 5 out of 5 for different reasons.
Yeah, we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
Okay, so moving on to Epcot.
Mm-hmm.
So this park has had like a bunch of different shows actually. So they started with Carnival de Lumiere, October 23rd, 1982 until 1983, kind of short-lived. Obviously, we weren't alive for that. A New World Fantasy from 1983 to 1984, also short-lived. We weren't alive for that.
They were really testing stuff at Epcot.
Laserphonic Fantasy, 1984 to 1988. And we weren't alive for that. And then we start with Illuminations, which we definitely remember. And that was from 1988 until 2019. There were different varieties of the show, but the one that we remember the best is...
The show was on for 40 years?
No. To 90 to... No, like 30. 30...
Wow.
One?
Bad math.
Yeah, really bad math. 31 years.
30, but still, I mean,
still
that's a
long time. So they had different variations. The variation that I remember the most is the Reflections of Earth. And what I remember about it as a kid...
There were different versions of Illuminations in general?
Yeah, but it was mostly...
The same concept?
Yeah. I don't think they brought out the globe with the projections like at the very beginning necessarily. But and then even right before the last one that we saw in 2015, I think was the last time that we saw that show. Maybe 2017. We saw it and it was a little different than what I had remembered as a kid, but I remember them like starting the show with all the fire blazing at all the different countries, and then it starts off by them blowing it out. Exactly. Yeah, so that's what I remember. And then obviously the We Are One song that they sing. So that show was their longest running show, obviously. Mm-hmm. Then they had Harmonious from 2021 to 2023, which was excellent, but a little bit different, a little less fireworks, a little more laser.
It was more like Happily Ever After.
But Disney songs.
And also like the different languages.
Yes, it did incorporate the different countries.
Yeah. I like that show a lot.
I liked that show a lot too. Mm-hmm. So I was hoping that when people rioted about Happily Ever After that they'd riot a little harder for this one to come back, but apparently it either didn't work or people didn't care enough.
Well, did you catch between Illuminations and Harmonious there was the Epcot Forever nighttime show? Did you write that one down?
Oh no.
It was like a transitional show that only happened between shows, so it happened between those two, and then after they took away Harmonious, they brought it back for a little bit.
Oh.
Until this new one now that exists.
I didn't remember that.
I haven't seen that, actually.
The new one?
No, Epcot Forever.
Yeah, I haven't either. I guess that's why I didn't write it down.
So, but I was told it was very, like, I guess, like, good for, like, people that grew up in Epcot. It had like a lot of like callbacks to like, remember like the parade song with the masks.
Oh
like
yes,
that was in it. It's like that was the
interesting.
Right? Isn't that it? Yeah.
So.
It's like a core memory for me. And I remember it because our friends Emily and Barry are like obsessed with Epcot, and so they knew all those things too when I brought it up. But so all right, so
yeah, it went from, I guess, Epcot Forever in between to Limonious, and the Symphony of Us. And so I saw. Have you seen it?
I have not.
Oh, okay. I did see it in April with Gretchen, and I actually thought it wasn't as bad as people said. It's so awful. It's so terrible. I think going from Harmonious, which I really loved, to that, it still incorporated some Disney music. It just kind of felt like, why? Why'd the change? Why'd they do that? Just let it be.
Because
you let Illuminations run for 31 years, and you took away. The only bad thing about Harmonious was you had to be in a certain spot to be able to see it, whereas Limonious is much more fireworks. It's you don't necessarily have to be in a certain spot. You have a pretty good view from all around the World Showcase.
But I don't really know that that's true for Harmonious because we never tried anywhere else.
True, I guess we just went to the spot.
But they say that you could see it from all over the lagoon.
Okay, I don't know. I still feel like there was a better spots than others for that show.
Probably.
But this one, similar to Illuminations, you could see the globe from everywhere. You could see, as long as you could see the center of the World Showcase. No, but I'm saying, like, similarly, you could be wherever in the World Showcase and you could enjoy the show, versus people said about Harmonious that you had to be in one spot, so we just always went to that spot, basically.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair.
So those are the different Epcot nighttime shows. So I would give, from what we saw, Harmonious, I'm going to say 4, because it wasn't a 5 to me. And then I would say Luminous is...
Luminous.
Oh my gosh, why can't I say that word? Luminous. Lumonious. Luminous.
The Symphonious of Us.
Symphony of Us. I would give a 3. And Illuminations, I'm going to give a 4 because of the nostalgia.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to say a 2, and I was like,
no!
Pitchforks are going to come out.
No!
Is that it? Those are
the ones that we've seen. Luminous.
So Harmonious is definitely a 4 for me. Steph and I actually just listened to that in the car when we were driving back up here from our vacation, and yeah, it's really, really good.
Yeah.
I would not give it the level of Happily Ever After, but it has so many good songs, and then there's a mashup of How Far I'll Go and I Can Go the Distance in that, which is just like a dream. Absolutely love that section. And then the Coco section is fire.
Yep.
Very, very good. The colors that they pull up, like all of it, the Africa section, like there's a lot of really, really, really good moments in that show. But like, it's not a show still that I would say, like, we did go more than other shows, or more than certain shows, to go like just to see that. It'd be like, oh, let's shake things up instead of going to Happily Ever After, Fantasmic, let's go see Harmonious. But it was never like the main attraction all the time. Yeah. If you're going to Epcot, you're going to Guardians and that, whereas we would go to Magic Kingdom just to see Happily Ever After.
Yeah. I think the other thing about that one too is it's like it's missing like as much excitement with the fireworks or the characters with Fantasmic. Like there's just not like the music is great, but the laser's fine.
It is like, just like, yeah. That's how I felt about, we're going to probably talk about World of Color in California Adventure. So the fireworks, I don't super care about fireworks. Like in general, I'm not like, that's the part, but it does add a lot.
Yeah.
To the projection stuff.
Yeah. So you'd give that a 4. What would you give Illuminations?
Probably a 3.
Okay.
It's not that I don't like it. Like, I definitely have fond memories of it, but I remember, like, when I was a kid and being at Epcot, and we had to stay to watch Illuminations, I never was, like, excited to stay and watch Illuminations. I was like, oh, this park is boring. This park's for adults. I don't want to be here. So, like, I associate those memories with Illuminations of, like, I didn't want to stay late for those. Whereas, like, at Magic Kingdom, I like staying late to see the fireworks and see all that. But Illuminations is a really good show. But I think what I need...
More Disney.
More Disney.
Yeah.
And less just, like, original IP. Which, like, my friends Emily and Barry are going to murder me for. So that's, like, their song. They got engaged during Illuminations or around Illuminations. And the We Are One song, I think, was their first dance. Oh. So, like, they're really, really into Illuminations.
Okay.
We always catch flack from them for just not really caring about it being gone or about it whether it came back. But Luminous, from what I understand, I haven't seen it, so I can't really rank it, is that they tried to
blend.
Appease both.
Yeah, it is a little bit of a blend.
Yeah, and like do like original Epcot stuff. Yeah. Even though it's not like old stuff, it's still new stuff, but it's new stuff. It's not just like Disney songs. It's like the main song is like an actual song. Yeah. And it's like more akin to We Are One. And mixing it with Disney. So I think they just tried to please both sides. I mean, that just doesn't land, I don't think, for me as a person, but I haven't seen it, so I can't really comment.
Yeah. You'll have to see that when you go. I mean, I still thought it was good. After everybody said, oh, it's not that great, you're not going to like it, and then I went and watched it, and I was like, okay, I mean, it's not the best, but I still liked it. If we were at Epcot and we were late there anyway, it's not like I would leave and not stay to watch it.
That's kind of the problem is, like, right now, we're just never really at Epcot at night. Late. Like, we only ever go to do Guardians and leave. And so we're just never there to hang around and wait for a nighttime show. But I'll try and make a priority to do it next time I'm at the parks.
Yeah, it's worth seeing just to see what you think about it.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so moving on, we'll just do Animal Kingdom real quick because it was very short. There was one.
Yeah, I saw it one time.
I actually never saw it. Rivers of Light ran from February 2017 to March 2020. They were doing a lot of later hours, trying that out at Animal Kingdom, and it just didn't work.
Which sucks because Pandora is amazing at night.
Yeah, I'm sure Everest would be so fun at night.
I don't know that we ever did that.
At night?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of...
But it's like the animals are all done. You can't do safari. There's like a lot of,
the park's already low capacity to begin with, let alone all the stuff that you can't do at night.
So that was very short-lived. What did you think about the show when you saw it?
Why is this here?
Okay, yeah.
Like, it just didn't fit. Like, they didn't have enough seating for it. They didn't have enough, it just didn't... They tried, and, they kind of did, the water projection, like Fantasmic, which is kind of cool. But it was just kind of again, felt low effort, felt just throw something together so we have a reason to keep people in the park until at night. And then I think they realized that people still weren't staying.
Yeah.
So
okay,
it didn't really land. So I'd give it a 2.
Okay, a 2. Okay. And then Hollywood Studios, so the first show that they had was in 1990. It was called Sorcery in the Sky, and it ran till 1998. It was actually behind the Great Movie Ride, so similar to the projection show that you just saw.
Sure.
Like a lights, camera, action theme. Songs went basically from the Great Movie Ride, like Wizard of Oz, Singing in the Rain, Mary Poppins, Star Wars, Indiana Jones. This? No. Well, probably, but I don't recall it. Yeah, 1990 to 1998. So it probably was there when we went. I went the first time in 96. I was 3.
Yeah.
But there was a giant inflatable Mickey that emerges from the top and sparks shoot from his fingers. So that's where it started.
That's cool.
I didn't know that. Yeah. So I was like, okay, that's really cool to learn.
Giant inflatable Mickey.
But
I wonder how many times they
blows
had to
up.
replace that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I know. I wondered
Real
that too.
Slow, just
yeah. Because he's not inflated the whole time. I don't think it.
And then the fingers are still sitting like this, and he's just setting himself on fire.
So that was what ran first. And then they had the Disney movie Magic show, which went from 2017 to 2019, paused because of COVID, then 2021, and now it's The Wonderful World of Animation, which also ran 2019 to 2020. These kind of intertwined and intermingled years for a little bit, and then it's back. So that's what you just saw, was The Wonderful World of Animation.
There's 2 shows, though. I didn't see the animation one.
Oh.
They have one that's live action themed, and then one that's animation themed. So one was at 8:40 and one was at 9 o'clock.
Oh, I don't think so maybe they are still alternating these two, Movie Magic and...
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. I guess, I saw the same one as you with Steph, so whichever one you saw is the one that I watched.
I think more
Movie
people
Magic?
stick around for the first one because the one after that is usually when Fantasmic.
Oh, at the same time.
Yeah.
Okay. So that show we just saw for the first time. I saw it in February. Regan just saw it. Yeah. And I actually thought it was really cool. I thought for a projection show, it was something that I feel like a lot of people don't talk about. And so when we were there in the past, we're always just kind of yeah, whatever, and are doing other rides or doing stuff during that time. But for whatever reason, we had time this last time. And so Steph, my daughter, and I stayed around and watched the show. And we were like, okay, this actually was really cool and worth watching. And
yeah,
so,
it was good.
Yeah, I was glad that we stayed and watched. So that was, that's the projection show that they have still. And then they also have Fantasmic, which originated in Disneyland first in 1992 and then came to Hollywood Studios in 1996. Closed just during COVID. 4 years until I think they had to build. So they wanted to see how popular it was at Disneyland. Then they had to build the whole stadium and the mountain and everything.
It's interesting that, Disneyland, that they just do it on Tom Sawyer's Island.
Yes, which we can talk about, the differences and what we think about all that. But then it closed during COVID, and the new version reopened November 3rd, 2022. So, man.
One of the best days of my life.
Fantasmic is the best show. We are Fantasmic Stan account. If you do not love Fantasmic, get out of here. But it literally, I saw something on Instagram today that somebody was like, I could either skip or go to Fantasmic or skip it and wait nothing for Tower of Terror. So I chose Tower of Terror, and I was like, you made the biggest mistake of your life. That is...
You also still don't wait nothing.
Yeah, there's still wait. But it is such a good show. The original show, we saw, frequently we would go to that show
tons
when we moved to Florida. And so we probably saw it the first time in 1999, and
I had the CD too growing up.
Yes.
So I would always I remember just being in my dark bedroom and just listening to that on repeat for hours.
Yeah, the soundtrack, and there was a version with all the voices and just an instrumental. So
yeah, that's right.
That was kind of fun too. I had it downloaded to my iTunes and on my iPod back in the day, and then I had another burned copy of our CD. I actually think I maybe still have the original in Mom's stuff at our house, but that soundtrack is amazing. We could probably sing the whole thing from start to finish. That's how we're going to finish out this podcast today. No. But yeah, it's such a good show. It combines the movies, projections, fireworks, the characters, such good music, the way they transition, the way they incorporate the villains. The whole thing is incredible. Mm-hmm. The one piece of advice that I have for this show, well, two. First of all, get there early, which you can talk about why, but it seems to be filling up to capacity. I've actually seen a lot of tweets in the last few weeks when the parks are supposedly not that busy, but people will hop to come see Fantasmic, especially on party nights at other places. Mm-hmm. So they'll leave Magic Kingdom, hop just to see Fantasmic, and so it fills up quick, so you have to get there early. And I'm not talking about 30 minutes, I'm talking about an hour before the show starts. And then my second piece of advice is do not sit at the front. You're going to get soaked. You're going to be miserable unless it's really hot. It cools off quick at night down there, and you will get wet. So, word of caution.
I think the best viewing for that show, because they try and funnel everyone to the left first all the way down,
top
is
right.
to the right, not all the way to the right, but the second section from the right. We sat there I think several times the last few times we've gone, and really, really liked the viewing from that side. As long as you're not behind a pole, it's pretty much good.
Yeah, so that show, it's so good. It's great for all ages. It does have a little bit of scary element, but I don't ever remember as a kid being scared. And my daughter was, 3 the first time she saw it, because 2022. So 3 the first time that she saw it, and she was obsessed. I remember we were there watching the show, and it was me, Regan, and Steph, and my husband and Mom, and I was pregnant with my youngest, and she was enamored. And at the end, she was just that was so cool. Mickey saved the day. And I was just oh my gosh, I was crying. It was so good. I mean, I cry almost every time I see that show. Yeah. It's just amazing. The music is so good. And then when it closed and came back, I was nervous because I'm obviously a nostalgia fan. And so I was they're going to ruin it. It's not the same. And Regan was no, you just have to watch it. It is so good. And so we took the kids, and yes, so good. I love the edition. Obviously, my daughter loves Elsa, so she was obsessed with the Frozen edition. She loves Moana. And the Mulan edition was pretty cool. Mm-hmm. So I didn't miss the old pieces that they took out as much as I thought I was going to. Because
they filled the section, the Pocahontas section from the original took up so much time, and they filled that with so many good IPs.
Yeah.
That it makes you not miss the one thing they kind of removed.
Yeah. I still really do miss the guy getting shot and screaming and falling off the thing. There's just a lot going on.
The dig and dig.
Yeah.
There's a lot of nostalgia with those songs, but
yeah.
I get why they got rid of it, and also what they replaced it with was solid.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So that is at Hollywood Studios. So what would you rank Fantasmic?
Fantasmic's a 5 out of 5.
It's a 10.
No, I mean, I would put Happily Ever After and Fantasmic at the same spot.
Oh, really?
For me. Yeah. Happily Ever After just hits in a different way.
Okay.
But I think where Fantasmic is more nostalgia, Happily Ever After is more
current.
Okay. But I also, so we actually went to Fantasmic the day that it reopened, which was so much fun. We got there super early. I mean, probably 2 to 3 hours before. We waited in a crazy long line. We thought it was gonna fill up before we got there, and we got in there and sat on that right side. And being in a room for a show like that is always just whoever happens to be at that park that day. It's you're getting different vibes. People are tired and whatever, but every single person in that 1,000 amphitheater was there for that show that night. They were fans. Yeah. And so gosh, I'll never forget Mickey coming out the first time and everyone just going wild. It was it was like being in a football stadium. It was so fun. And then like every little addition, like people were just cheering and clapping, and like we were crying, and it was amazing.
So good. Oh my gosh, so fun.
We were really, really happy all to go there for opening day for that. Like, because there's not a lot of things that
you get to say you've been at opening
day. Yeah, for Disney. Like, that's hard to do. Like, we were surprised we got reservations, but I got reservations the second I saw them come out on Twitter. No, actually, I think that we got like insider info.
Okay.
That it was going to be that day before it was even
from
officially
cast members.
Yeah, and so we made the reservations ahead of time, which was obviously super helpful.
So if somebody said, I only have one evening, should I see Happily Ever After? Really?
Because, and that's what, we just had to make that decision actually with our friends when we went in a few weeks ago. And it's because the iconicness of the castle with the fireworks. It's like when you say, I'm going to watch, a lot of people don't even say it. I want to go watch the nighttime show, or I want to go watch Happily Ever After. They say, I want to go see the fireworks.
Yeah.
And like, that's what Magic Kingdom is. It's very known for the fireworks and the Happily Ever After. Like, I would 100% suggest, if you had one day at Disney, to pick that.
Yeah.
Fantasmic is more of like a lot of people I feel like don't even know that Fantasmic is really a thing.
No.
It's kind of like hidden.
Or don't understand what it is. Like, they don't understand that it's a nighttime show with fireworks and characters.
It's not just like characters on a map like dancing around. It's like an actual like performance. And
I think they think it's like Free Willy at SeaWorld. Like, they don't understand that it's like so much more than that.
Yeah, so I mean, I think Fantasmic is like, when I planned my itinerary for one of my team members, I was saying like, you have to see these two shows. Mm-hmm. Like, so make time for Happily Ever After and Fantasmic. Whether or not you see the others, or like Luminous, I didn't really say like you need to see it, but like I said, like set aside time for Fantasmic and Happily Ever After.
Make sure you see it. That's what I tell everybody who says they're going to Hollywood Studios. I'm like, don't leave before the nighttime show.
Yeah, like, and that's the thing about both of those parks that's incredible. I mean, Hollywood Studios to a lesser degree, but I still think that there's enough to do in Hollywood to last a whole day.
Oh, yeah.
Especially if you don't have lightning lanes. Like, you'll just have to wait in line. Whereas Magic Kingdom, like, we could have lightning lanes and you still could do everything and still see Happily Ever After and still fill a whole day. But, like, Hollywood Studios, like, we would probably fly through everything, but, like, a normal family
and all the shows.
Yeah, there's, like, Indiana
stuff
Jones
to do.
and stuff.
Yeah, great restaurants.
Yeah.
So
Hollywood Studios is, like, I mean, I get, like, I think I get tired of going to it because it's, like, always our park that we kind of default to because it's, like, it's so easy to get into versus Magic, and it's,
there's
like...
so much fun, like, thrill rides.
There is so... Like, everything is a hit there.
Yeah.
Like, it's just a really solid park, and, like, and they're adding the Monsters, Inc. thing, which would even make it even more of a solid park.
Yeah.
So
yeah, okay.
Anyway, so 5 out of 5 Fantasmic. I did see the projection show, the live action projection show. So that was really good.
Yeah, I thought so. I think it's like a 4.
Like Steph said, like we should stay and watch this. You'll really like it. And I was kind of like, we don't have to. And then I watched it and I was like, wow, like yeah. I loved the Indiana Jones bits, the Guardians of the Galaxy stuff. I always wish there was more Marvel.
Yeah.
But like I know they can't really dabble in anything. It's like Guardians just like. It's kind of oversaturated in Disney World. Yeah. Because that's like all they have.
Yeah, because Universal and everything else.
And so like, but like, it was still really cool. Yeah, I really, really enjoyed that show. I have not seen the animation one except for like when you're walking out of the park after Fantasmic. So can't really comment on that. But I would give the live action one like a 4 out of 5. Like,
same.
Like I definitely think it's worth seeing.
I agree.
But it's hard to do that and Fantasmic.
Yeah, it depends on the timing of the night, and summer they have usually later shows.
Yeah, how late you want to stay.
Because the Fantasmic shows can get late. But if you are able to swing it to still get over to Fantasmic early enough, or to see the second Fantasmic show, because sometimes they do 2, try to do both if you can.
I would always say, if your family has the capacity to stay up
for the later
Fantasmic, I would say to go to that one. You don't have to get there as early because way less people go.
Yeah, because all the little kids
like they don't even, they usually, like the times that we've been at that one, they don't even fill the amphitheater. Mm-hmm. Like it's it's almost a more enjoyable experience that way if you're looking for like low crowds and less stress, less lines at the concession stuff if you're still getting concessions, which they have food back there, which is great. We get food now almost every time.
Hot chocolate.
Yeah, hot chocolate, pretzels, cheese.
Yeah,
they have like
candy.
Full food. Yeah, like sodas. They have a bunch of stuff. So I would suggest the 10:30 Fantasmic if you can.
Okay.
Or 10 o'clock?
It depends, I think.
I think it depends. But check the times. Go to the second show if you can. That also gives you more time that if you wanted to go on. So like Toy Story Land is really cool at night. Tower Terror is always fun at night. So if you can do those things while you wait and burn time, do it. Slinky is really fun at night in Florida when the sun goes down because it's cool outside, and it's all lit up and cool. And always a fan of Slinky at night.
And then we can briefly touch on our experiences with Disneyland, because I have seen Fantasmic at Disneyland. So have you. The first version, because obviously the new version just opened up not that long ago.
Well, and it's basically just
reopened.
From what I understand.
Oh, they didn't change. No, I think they changed. People were complaining about stuff that they took out.
They took out Pirates of the Caribbean and put Peter Pan back.
Maybe. Let me see here.
I mean, it's not that deep, but like, yeah, the old. I was actually blown away. Like, I still prefer Hollywood Studios Fantasmic because of the seating situation, and like, actually being like a dedicated theater. In Disneyland, it's kind of like they throw up ropes and they're like, "Good luck."
Yeah, I don't love that. I didn't love like sitting on the hard ground, but I thought it was cool how they used the space that they already had in Magic Kingdom.
Well, they do that really, really well in Disneyland.
Or that's what I meant, in Disneyland.
General. Like,
yeah, they use their
really
space.
Good at utilizing space because they have to.
They have to.
But like, they used to give out tickets. They used to be able to get like paper fast passes for Fantasmic, so you could get like access to the seating. I actually have some of those still from our first time going to Disneyland, and but they had like toward the end of the show. Actually, I won't spoil it, but there was a really, really cool thing at the very, very end of the show at Disneyland that they did a lot better. Actually, I already talked about it. The dragon setting on fire. They had a 40-foot dragon, full animatronic dragon that would come out of the ground for Disneyland's Fantasmic versus Disney World's that just has wings and a head.
Yeah.
But that 40-foot dragon caught on fire like a year and a half ago.
Oh, yeah, it's been a little bit.
It was right before I left for my program that I'm in, and it was then Fantasmic was shut down for like a while and just came back up. And my understanding is that scene now is just Mickey versus Maleficent.
Correct.
Instead of like Maleficent the dragon.
Yeah.
Which is what we know as B mode, which is if the dragon's not working at Hollywood Studios, Mickey just fights Maleficent while she's like up on top of this rock instead of it being the dragon, which is very disappointing when that happens.
Which I've only seen that happen like maybe once or twice actually.
Yeah.
Most of the time the dragon's working.
Yeah.
And then they just changed Peter Pan. Another thing is like Ariel and Prince Eric are there. No, they always are there. Why does it say that? Anyway, maybe they weren't there at Disneyland.
Yeah,
they were there at Hollywood Studios. So yeah, I loved the Pirates part in that, and so I'm kind of sad that they took that away and brought back Peter Pan because we're gonna go next summer, so we'll see it again. But the kids will think it's cool because they've never seen the pirate ship. So that was neat. And then
and it has the crocodile.
Yeah.
Which I really liked that when I saw, because I saw the first version.
Yeah, the first time you went with Mom.
The first time I went, yeah. Mm-hmm. And then the second time we went, it was the Pirates, which I loved the Pirates. I mean, Pirates of the Caribbean is top 5 soundtracks, I think, of all time.
Yeah.
So, like, anytime that music starts playing, like, it's really cool. And they really utilize that pirate ship really well.
Yeah.
That kind of just, I mean, I think you can actually ride it during the day, similar to, like, the riverboat at Disneyland. But I think it's cool that they utilize that for the show.
Yeah. And then you saw World of Color, but we did not.
I don't know. Steph, did we see World of Color? We did not see World of Color. I saw it on YouTube.
Oh.
It was raining.
Same for us. It was raining, so we couldn't see it.
Yeah, but what I saw on YouTube, I was not super... Like, it's cool.
Yeah.
But it's not... It's like Fantasmic... If Fantasmic was only the water projections, that's kind of like...
That's what friends that have seen it said, that they were like, you're not missing much. Don't stress about staying there for that.
Which really, really sucks for me because it has Avengers stuff.
Yeah.
Like, which I love. And it has like the portals and stuff. And it's like on your left. Like, it's like it's like my dream that they put it in such a show that's kind of like and then the other show at Disneyland that I really want to see in person that I've only seen on YouTube is Wondrous Journeys, which is like their Happily Ever After.
Oh.
But they only run it for like a portion of the year.
Yeah, it's like very limited.
Because the other part of the year, it's the Halloween projection show that is available outside of just the Oogie Boogie Bash. It's like, it's they just Halloween time. Yeah. But Wondrous Journeys has Treasure Planet representation in it, which is like so cool for me because I love Treasure Planet and it's such a like Disney kind of like pretends it doesn't exist. Like that whole era of Disney It's kind of like hidden. Emperor's New Groove, Atlantis, and Treasure Planet. So loved that. When we saw it on YouTube, I literally like immediately started crying when that came on. But really want to see that at some point in that limited run that it has. But so where would you? You've seen Fantasmic Disneyland. Where would you put it compared to Hollywood Studios? Would you still say it's a 5?
So let's make this our old versus new.
Okay.
I would say, I would say it's a 4 at Disneyland. I don't know why. I don't like sitting on the ground. I don't like that. It's literally like chaos trying to find a spot. That part I really don't love. I know you have to take time to do it for Disney World because you have to like get there, get in your spot. Like it is a lot longer, but I just feel like I like that better, and that could also be a nostalgia thing. So I would give it a 4. So I think my ranking would still be the old version at Hollywood Studios is number 1. The new version at Hollywood Studios is number 2. And then Disneyland is number 3.
Wow.
What would you say?
So the only thing that I don't like about Disneyland's Fantasmic prior to, like, I haven't seen the new version, like the old version with Murphy the Dragon, is the fact that you're not sitting in an amphitheater. Everything about that show besides that was like perfect to me. It was so good.
Okay.
There are elements now, so like I think that I ultimately used to think like move all of those elements to Disney World and I'd be happy. Like just replace all of what we have with what they have in our arena and I would have been happy. Now I really, really like the new Fantasmic show elements that they added. I would replace, like there's still element, like I love the Pirates of the Caribbean stuff, so I would put that in over the Aladdin stuff. Okay. I think we could ditch the snake, and I think we could ditch the whole like, whoa, who's over there? And
yeah.
Like that whole scene is kind of
like, why didn't they do that?
Because they gotta have like somebody that swings from this side to this side.
Yeah.
And it's like, it does feel really weird though, and then it's just like he stops and he does like they'll find out.
Yeah.
There's so much more. And it's like, why?
Yeah,
it feels really out of place.
For this high action thing to this like very serious moment. So you would say Disneyland, new version Disney World, old version Disney World?
Yeah.
Okay. So like the opposite of me.
Yeah. I think that Disneyland has the best elements, but just really bad seating situation.
Yeah, the seating.
So if you're not in the right spot, and you also have to stand the whole time, and it's just like not.
Unless
you're
against,
show.
It's a long show.
What really, really sucks about Disneyland in that way is that no matter what, if you have Wondrous Journeys and Fantasmic, you're always having to probably pick between one or the other every time you go.
Yeah,
and I could never. That would suck so much.
That would suck. So much.
To have to choose between Happily Ever After and Fantasmic, like in the same park. It'd be really great for capacity. Yeah. But I can't. That would just be miserable.
That would be miserable.
So yeah, I would say Disneyland's elements, like the show itself, watching it, I think is the best version of it. Not the new one. So now, like, if we were talking about current standings, I would put new Hollywood Studios, then Disneyland, then old Hollywood Studios. But yeah, based on what we were talking about, Disneyland first, and then new, and then old.
Okay, so our trivia question for today, this is another similar to what was open last week, but which of these attractions did not exist on Magic Kingdom's opening day in 1971? Pirates of the Caribbean, the Haunted Mansion, the Enchanted Tiki Room, Jungle Cruise, or Tomorrowland Speedway? That is tricky. I'm gonna say Jungle Cruise.
No, I'm like almost certain it's either Pirates or Haunted Mansion.
That was not there on opening day?
Yeah.
Okay, which one do you think?
I'm gonna go with Pirates.
Okay. Let's find the answer. This likes to give me a hard time every time. This was number...
I can still see if I can find it.
Yeah, Pirates.
Was that right?
Yes.
Let's go.
So Pirates was not open. Wow, that actually really surprised me. See, what year did it open?
Because I feel like I've seen either pictures of the map of opening day, or I've seen pictures of what Pirates that area used to look like.
Oh.
Somehow in my
Why
brain.
Why wouldn't they have brought that for opening day when it was such a hit at Disneyland? That's so interesting.
When did Pirates of the Caribbean ride open? Disney World. 73. December 15th, 73.
2 years later.
Alongside the surrounding Caribbean Plaza sub-area of Adventureland.
Okay.
I'm curious, why didn't Pirates open in Disney World? Opening day. There has to be like a reason. Because it was like massively popular at...
Yeah, that's why I was so surprised, especially like that and Haunted Mansion were so popular.
So the Imagineers originally felt that the residents of Florida would not have an interest in local pirates.
Huh.
So a unique new attraction was being planned for the Florida park, the Western River Expedition. Development of that new attraction was delayed and never did get built. Guests began asking where the Pirates attraction was, and so due to public demand, a similar variation of the original Disneyland attraction was opened as part of the Caribbean Plaza.
So like the Pirates, the
popular demand worked back then. They were just like, no, we want this. No wonder the Twitter warriors go so hard.
Yeah, I was gonna say, isn't that exactly how Tiana's happened?
Oh yeah.
But
that was more for like people that wasn't just like a want. That was like people were saying it's like the
racial reason.
Yeah, like a need.
Yeah. I guess so, but I guess like they really listen to keyboard warriors sometimes.
I guess.
But yeah, not and Happily Ever After we just talked about. Everybody's like, where is it? Bring it back, and so they're like, okay,
that's true. Yeah,
so sometimes they're choosy about when they want to listen.
I mean, I think just when it makes sense, and also like. It's not like Princess and the Frog was like an unpopular IP.
Right.
So like I think that if it just became like getting rid of Splash Mountain, but they were like, no, we can make this even more of a cash grab if we make it this popular IP that people enjoy. So I mean, I think it makes sense. It was a good move.
Debatable. We can debate that another time.
Well, like it was a good move, like socially.
Yeah. Okay, well, that's all we have for today. Thanks for listening. Be sure to follow us on our Instagram, which is just at Soarin Around WDW.
Which honestly is kind of popping off.
Yeah.
Like, good job.
You're welcome.
You're doing a good job on that.
If
we could have everyone that's following on Instagram go over and sub to the YouTube channel, that'd be great.
Or Spotify.
Or follow on Spotify.
Yeah. Subscribe, follow, comment. We also started doing some listener questions. We're not incorporating them quite yet, but I did have a couple people ask us some stuff. So
okay, yeah.
Definitely send us what questions you have. Do you have questions about the history of Disney? Are you planning a trip? What, suggestions do you want? We can talk about kind of whatever us as kids.
I would die to do a vacation planning segment.
Oh, let's do it. We're not travel agents.
No.
But this is a plug for travel agents. You should use a travel agent because it's free. And literally, as somebody who goes to Disney all the time, I still use a travel agent. So if you're going to book on property, use a travel agent. Or
just use me. Because I like talking about Disney and I love planning vacations.
He doesn't get paid for it, though. It's
not
an actual job.
And it's not official through Disney.
This is not sponsored.
Yeah. I'm not trying
to any vacation planning questions. We also need to do an episode about our Disney bucket list. So that's coming up, too.
That also... So, I want to talk about, really quick, the... oh, God, I just had it in my brain and now I might have lost it. Nope, it's gone.
Okay.
Hopefully I remember eventually.
Yeah.
Disney bucket list we'll do...
And we're going to get some interviews. We got some stuff lined up, trying to work on getting our dad on here, getting our mom on here, getting the spouses on here begrudgingly.
The problem is audio quality. Like, I'm just kind of I know our audio quality is not amazing, but it's like, I just don't want to have it be like a phone call.
Really crappy. Yeah. We're working on it.
We'll figure it out.
All right, guys. Thanks so much for listening. We're going to soar out of here.
We'll see you next week. You're not letting that go.
I'm not letting it go.